Can you all see me and hear me okay? Give me a wave if you can. Yeah, great, thank you. All right, so welcome to Monday Morning Yoga. I want to preface our practice today with kind of sharing a little bit about what's been going on with me. So I want to thank Dory and Charles and Lisa. I don't think Lisa's here yet, but I want to thank those people for suggesting that I do Ryan Huffington's dance class yesterday. That was a lot of fun, and it was great to get moving. It was great to feel that sense of joy in my body again, and after that, I progressed into ecstatic dance, which I don't know if you guys know, is like my thing. I love it so much. And just to feel so much joy and to see so much beauty with all of these other dancers dancing in their own unique space, it was absolutely like, it felt like a celebration, and it felt like a prayer, and it felt like really getting in touch with my own essence and really feeling that place of authenticity inside of myself. And so today is going to be another heart-opening practice. So go ahead and find any comfortable position that you like. You can lie down, you can stay seated. Whatever you do, just place your hands on your heart and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Bring yourself into the reality of this moment. Bring yourself into a heartfelt place. And as we move through this quarantine, as we have to let go of more and more of what made up our life before, the little things that brought us a sense of comfort or a sense of security, it's like we're spiraling deeper and deeper into the center of ourselves, where the source is really deep within. So continue to breathe deeply, feeling that breath moving through your heart. Thinking of all the love. And when I say love, I mean unconditional love. The love we can feel for ourselves, even if everything isn't perfect, as we let go of the pedicures and the manicures in my case. Can we come into this place of unconditionality with ourselves, with the way that we practice, with the way that we flow through the day? So maybe that sense of productivity is coming more from your mind and not so much from your center. So with every breath you take, imagine you're breathing in through this filter of unconditionality, unconditional love. And this filter is right there in the chambers of your own heart. Let your heart become full. Let your joy become accessible. Let your heart open to that place of the greatest self-care, the greatest nurturing we can do for ourselves. And so just take 3 more breaths and really connect to your heart with each and every breath that you take. And then slowly allow your eyes to open. And and make your way into a child's pose. And as you come into the child's pose, you can separate your knees out a little bit wider. Keep your big toes touching. Drop your hips back into your heels. And then place your forehead down on the earth or on a block. You need a little platform. And wrap your arms around behind you, laying the backs of your hands down on the soles of your feet. You can also clasp your two pointer fingers together or clasp your opposing wrists. And imagine from your heart center, you're drawing a heart basically. So your shoulders are the top of the heart and your arms are the side, and where your fingertips come together is the point or the tip of the heart. And within this heart, you're creating a symbol that this time on your mat is a time of self-love. Good, and then release your hands and slide your arms forward, slide your hands forward. Lift up onto the tips of your fingers. Make your arms grow longer. Feel that length extending through the sides of your back. And imagine you could roll your triceps down towards the earth and spin your biceps up towards the ceiling. And imagine that revolution that you're creating through your arms is actually helping to elongate your arms, like ribbons wrapping around your arms, helping to make your arms longer, thereby your spine longer, as you keep your hips rooted down into your heels. And if you have a big space, you can always place a blanket or a towel between your knees and between your calves and your thighs. And then take a few deep breaths here and let your palms settle down. Let your fingers spread out nice and wide. Feel that connection you're making to the earth. Good. And then slowly start to slide your right hand backwards. You're going to reach your right palm towards the back of your mat, as far back as it goes. And then you're going to start to spin the thumb side of your right hand up off of the floor so the pinky is down. And you're going to keep your forehead down. You're going to start to roll your right shoulder open. And then you're going to reach your right arm up and back as you press down into your left hand. Revolve your chest towards the right. Yeah. So the left side of your chest is pressing down into your thigh. And you feel the right side of your chest peeling up off of your thigh. Good. And then slowly revolve it back down. Slide your right arm forward again to meet your left. And so if you glance at your palms, they're shoulder distance apart. And then slide your left hand backwards as far as it goes towards the back of the mat, so your fingers are pointing back behind you. Keeping your forehead down, start to spin the thumb side of your hand up off of the floor. Lift your shoulder head away from the floor so your collarbone gets longer. You'll start to establish a little sensation in your shoulder blade area. And then slowly start to imagine you're pressing down into your right palm as you revolve the left side of your chest up off of your thigh. Good. And then slowly release it down and slide your left hand forward again so your arms are reaching out in front of you with your hands shoulder distance apart. Good. And then flip your right palm over. Try to make your fingertips extend out a little bit further. Keep your forehead down and try, it might not work, but try to float your right arm up any amount. Extending through your fingertips and feeling that revolution. So the inner arm is spinning up, the outer arm is spinning down. Take one more breath here and slowly release it down. And then same thing, flip your left palm over, stretch your fingertips out a little bit more, keeping your forehead down, try to float that arm up. And imagine the thumb side of your hand going down towards the floor, the pinky side of your hand going up towards the ceiling. Take one more breath here, see if you can expand the top of your sternum forward a little bit more. Good, and then as you exhale, release it down. Great, now rise up to hands and knees, and as you come into hands and knees, make sure that your Hands are directly underneath your shoulders, your knees are directly underneath your hips. And let's try to do like a double Dutch jump rope action. So we're circling our heart around and around. So think about your heart going down through the center, up and around to the opposite side. Like you're circling your ribs. Good, and then go the opposite direction as well. Good, and then find your way into a neutral spine. Extend your right leg straight back behind you. Feel the inner thigh side of your right leg lifting up towards the ceiling. Support the weight of the leg with your low belly. And then stretch your left arm forward and get really, really long here. So think about if someone was pulling your wrist forward, if someone was pulling your ankle backward. Good. And then remember that movement we did when we were reaching our arm back. So you're going to slowly start to bring your left arm out towards the left. And then turn your thumb up towards the ceiling and reach that arm back like someone's going to pass you the baton. And then notice, did you let your low belly spill out? Keeping your low belly hugged in, start to bend your right knee, maybe just tap your heel. And as you inhale, extend your leg, reach your arm forward, spin your palm up and try to lift your arm a little higher. Make sure you're still hugging the belly in. Good, and then start to circle your arm around. As you exhale, bend your knee, maybe just tap your heel here. And as you inhale, circle your arm around, reach forward, lift your palm up a little bit higher. Last time, as you exhale, start to circle that arm around, bend your knee, and then catch the pinky side of your foot. So your arm is in external rotation, and press your shin backwards. Feel your chest lifting up towards the left. Good, and then slowly release your ankles, circle your arm back around, reach your leg back. Lift the palm up a little bit higher, hug your belly muscles in. Good, and slowly return your hand and your knee back to the mat. Take a round of cat and cow here where you're extending your chest forward through the gates of your arms. As you exhale, round, think about lifting your heart up towards the back, towards your shoulder blades. And do that twice more. Think about your heart moving forward as you come into cow pose. And think about hugging your heart all the way into the tallest part of the dome of your spine when you come into cat pose. Great, and then find your way back into a neutral spine so you already feel that connection to your low belly. Extend your left leg straight back behind you. Keep hugging that outer right hip in. Feel the inner thigh of your left leg spiraling up towards the ceiling to help you elongate that leg. And then stretch your right arm forward and go for that length. So now you're being pulled apart, pulled into opposite directions. Good. You're going to start to circle your right arm around and then open up your palm as if someone's passing you the baton. And then start to bend your left knee. Think about the low belly staying engaged. Maybe just tap your heel here. And as you inhale, circle your arm around and culminate that inhale with lifting your palm a little higher. Exhale, circle your arm around. Tap your heel. Good. Inhale, lengthen it out. Big circle with your right arm. Extend that left leg back. One more time, circle it around. Check in with your low belly. Catch the pinky side of your foot and press your ankle backwards. Feel your right collarbone opening up and imagine the left side of your chest could lift. Just breathe here. Good. Slowly release. Circle your arm around. Press your sole of your foot backwards. Good, and bring everything and back down to the mat. So your knees are right underneath your hips. You're going to slowly keep your hips above your knees. Walk your hands forward into puppy dog. So as you come into puppy dog, you keep the hips nice and tall above your knees, and you allow your heart to melt down towards the earth. Maybe place your forehead down on the floor. And imagine you could even press your armpits down into the floor. Good, and then slowly walk your hands back in. Tuck your toes under, hover your kneecaps a ½ inch above your yoga mat. Think about making your sternum taller. Think about sliding your hands towards the back of the mat as you slide your toes towards the front of the mat. So you're really waking up the sensation in your belly muscles here. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, use the strength that you're cultivating in your midsection to press your hips back into downward facing dog. Keep your knees bent. Keep reaching your sitting bones back. Keep elongating your arms, pressing into the space between your thumb and your first finger and the root of every single finger. Good, and then bend your right knee a little bit deeper. Drop your left heel down. Feel that stretch down the left calf, Achilles, ankle complex. Keep your arms stretching and reaching as if you could slide the yoga mat forwards. Good, and then lift up high onto the ball of your left and drop your right heel down towards the mat. And in your arms and your torso, it feels like you're a superhero. It feels like you're just so extended. Good. And then lift up high onto the balls of your feet. Lift your sitting bones up as high as you can send them. Keep stretching them up towards the ceiling. Good, and then release your heels down any amount and imagine that you could press the quadriceps back into the hamstring. So your hips just keep lengthening back. Your gaze is between your feet, and as you observe your feet, you notice that your inner heels are invisible, so they should be. So if they're not, send them towards the outsides of the mat a little bit so they're hiding behind the front of your foot. Good. And then on your next inhale breath, super slow motion, start to round your spine. Lift up onto the tippy toes. Round your spine and shift forward into plank pose. And then let your hips drop down. Pull your yoga mat backwards and lift your chest up. So you still have your toes tucked. Good. And then as you exhale, lift your hips up and back and really feel the backs of the legs pressing back, finding a little bit more distance. And we do it again. So we inhale and we round our spine. We come forward like we're a wave, and we culminate with letting the hips drop down and trying to reach the heart forward through the gates of the arms. Imagine you could rip your yoga mat in half. And as you exhale, you create that same sensation of a wave to lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And let's do that one more time. Lift up onto the balls of your feet. Start to roll your spine like a wave. Continue that inhale until you feel the center of your sternum reaching through your arms and the center of your sternum reaching towards the top of your sternum. And as you exhale, return back to downward facing dog. Good, and then bend your knees and come down. You're back onto all fours again. Okay, you're going to extend your right leg back behind you. And then you're going to seal the outer edge of your right foot down onto your yoga mat. So really press down into the pinky toe. So your toes are now facing this, they're facing the opposite side of your mat. And then you take your right arm up to the sky. So we're in a modified side angle pose. Good. Modified side plank. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, just allow everything to soften into a side bend. Just let your body release, get really soft. So you drop your right arm over your ear. Good. And then press into your left palm, and as you inhale, expand and really grow from the left palm all the way up to the right fingertips. Good, now start to reach your right arm back behind you, opening your chest up towards the ceiling. You're reaching your right hand towards the left side of your mat. Good, and then float it back up to the top and stretch your arm out over your ear, pinky side of your hand turned down, and then see if you can revolve your chest, and as you do, you start to make a helicopter out of your right arm. So you're spinning it around and around, and you're letting your chest revolve. Next time your arm is straight up to the top, pause. Good. Reach your arm back like you're reaching for that baton again. You can stay here, this is plenty, or you can float your right leg up, bend your right knee, catch the inner part of your right foot. And make sure that you're not sticking your ribs out, you're actually containing your bottom ribs, but you're using this to open up through your right collarbone. So if you took that variation, go ahead and release. Release your leg, release your arm. And let's move on to the second side. So you extend your left leg back behind you. And then you place the sole of your foot down on your yoga mat in line with your right toes. You press through the pinky edge of your foot and you spin your arm up towards the sky. Just gonna change sides so that you can see me. Good. And then you're going to slowly start to let your left arm melt over your ear. So you're just coming into that nice soft side bend. Good. And then lift back up and really feel that expansion from your bottom palm reaching up to your top. Good. And then start to reach your arm back behind you so you open up your chest. You keep pressing into that thumb and index finger of your bottom hand. Good, and then float your arm back up and take your arm over your ear. So you're making a long line through the left side of your body. Good, now start to reach your arm back. So you're doing that helicopter with your arm and you're letting your chest open towards the ceiling each time. Good. Good, and then the next time your arm is up, hold your arm up. Reach back like you're going to catch that baton. An option to lift your top leg up to reach back and catch your ankle. And then check in with yourself. Can you still feel the central line of your body, but your left collarbone peeling open? Good, and then slowly release whatever you have. Drop your legs, spiral your arm back down, come back into all fours. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Feel as if you could emanate energy out through every single fingertip. And then walk your hands to the side edges of your mat. Wrap your knuckles around the side edges of your mat. And imagine you could rip the mat in half. Try to rip the mat in half. And then bend your elbows out to the side so the top of your skull goes down towards the floor. Without changing anything else, just swivel your elbows to face the back of your mat, so hug them in, and then press your arms to straight. And notice the sensation of where you're feeling that behind your heart, around your shoulder blades. Good, and then try to hold on to that sensation as you walk your hands back to shoulder distance apart, really pressing down into the thumb and the index finger, the mound between them. And on your next inhale breath, shift forward to the top of a push-up. Press your heels back against an imaginary wall. Reach the top of your skull forward. Feel your inner thighs spinning up towards the ceiling. Check in with the expression on your face and your perception that might be running through your mind, and just see if you can clear it out. Just be in your joy. Imagine you could slide your yoga mat backwards with your hands, forward with your toes, so you really wake up the sensation of your belly. And then let your shoulders shift forward a little bit, and as you exhale, use your knees if you need to, lower yourself all the way down onto the floor. Good, and then step your hands out in line with your shoulders, fingertips down on the floor. Tops of your feet pressing down, particularly the pinky toenails. And then imagine you were pulling the floor backwards, lifting your chest up, reaching your sternum forward. And as you were exhale, lower, release it back down. Again, inhale, lift your chest. Feel the shoulder blades creating that spaciousness in the front of your body. And as you exhale, release it back down. One more time, rolling cobra. Keep reaching back through your toes. Keep those inner thighs spinning. Lift, lift, lift. Grow, expand. Good, and as you exhale, release it back down. Place your hands directly underneath your elbows. You can do this from your knees or you can do this from your toes. If you're doing it from your toes, lift your kneecaps off of the mat. Engage your belly muscle, your belly button back towards your spine. And on your inhale breath, either press up to the top of a push-up or to a modified push-up. And as you exhale, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Good, inhale, shift forward, top of a push-up. Exhale, slow motion descent to halfway down, so your elbows meet the sides of your waist. And as you inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. If you're an upward facing dog, try to rip your mat in half, reach your chest forward. And as you exhale, take your hips up and back into downward facing dog. One more time, inhale, shift forward to the top of that push-up. Drop your knees if you need to. As you exhale, lower halfway down, elbows just kind of tap towards the sides of your waist. Inhale to baby cobra or upward facing dog. Marinate in that long breath. Good, and as you exhale, take your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Good. And then from here, inhale your right leg straight up towards the sky. Open up your hip, let your leg drape open. And imagine you could reach your torso through underneath your right arm. So you're just finding a little sensation of a upper spine back bend. Good, and then square your chest back towards the floor. Square all 5 toes back down towards your mat. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly start to shift forward. Curl your knee in towards your chest. Push the floor away. Suction your heart up into the dome of your shoulder blades. And step your right foot between your hands. Drop your back knee down to the floor. Untuck your toes. Your fingertips are still down. You're going to let your hips shift forward a really big amount. So you're already feeling a stretch in that left hip flexor. Good. Your left hand is pressing down. Bring your right hand to the top of your right thigh. And use that as leverage, so you're pressing your thigh in as you try to turn your chest towards your right leg. Good, and just stay here and breathe. And then don't lose what's happening here. So you're not going to let your knee fall out to the side. You're going to keep hugging it in with the musculature of your leg. Extend your right arm up to the sky and start to reach back behind you, opening your chest up a little bit more. Good, and then take your arms straight back up towards the ceiling. Turn your palm to face the front and slowly start to, like you're scooping water, reach your arm out over your ear. See if you can turn the left side of your chest up just a little bit more. Good, now reach back like you're going to catch that baton. So your palm is open and you rise up, reaching your left arm forward. Good. Feel the frontal, the pubic bone lifting up towards the navel. Start to spin your arms, circle them around and around, and one and then the other. And then join your palms together at the top. Press your palms together. Lunge a little bit deeper into your lunge here. Good, and then interlace your hands behind your back. Right thumb on top of the left thumb. Your hands are right against the the lowest part of your back. And you're gonna slide your knuckles down, maintaining that contact. So you're trying to press your lower back into your forearms. And then imagine you could just blossom your chest open. Open up your collarbones, lift your chest towards the sky. Breathe. Keep finding a little more expansion through your chest. Good, and then you'll start to straighten your right leg. You might wobble a little bit. As you straighten your right leg, keep the interlace of your hands, reach your knuckles backwards, reach your chest forward, fold over your straight right leg. And then rebend your right knee, take your arms up to the sky, join your palms again. And as you exhale, bring your hands down on either side of your right foot. Reach back with your right arm like you're being passed the baton, and maybe catch a hold of your ankle. When you breathe here. And as you energetically press your foot towards the back of the room, you feel as if your right collarbone might grow a little bit longer. Good. Slowly release. Circle your arm back down. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee up off of the mat. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Take a moment in plank pose. Feel as if you could elongate the top of your sternum towards the front of your mat. Think about trying to pull your yoga mat backwards. Pitch forward to the tippy toes. Exhale halfway down. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Take a moment to feel the earth underneath you. Take a moment to check in with your heart, your essence, your place of joy. Good, and then float your left leg up behind, back straight back behind you. Open up your hip, let your leg drape open, and try to reach your chest through underneath your left arm. Both arms are nice and straight. And then slowly revolve your heart back down towards the mat. Revolve your toes so that they face the mat. And slowly start to shift forward, curling your knee in towards your chest. Push the floor away. Dome shape your upper back. And step your left foot between your hands. Drop your right knee down and uncurl your toes. So your right hand is pressing down. You hold onto the outside of your left leg, and you use that as leverage so that you can revolve the right side of your belly button to look at the inner left leg. And then make sure you hold on to that alignment as you extend your left arm up to the sky. And turn your palm. Stretch towards the front of the room. Keep trying to turn your chest up a little bit more. Good, and then reach back again like someone who's passing you the baton. And rise up with your right arm reaching forward, your left arm reaching back behind you. Feel how the inner thighs are continuing to engage so we don't splay our legs out. It's like we're squeezing that tiny piece of parchment paper between the inner thighs. Good, and then start to circle your arms in opposition, around and around like you're swimming, like you're doing the backstroke. Good, and then take both arms up to the sky. Allow your palms to join at the top. Lift your ribcage up off of your pelvis. Keep that nice deep lunge. Good, and then circle your arms around behind you. Interlace the left thumb on top of the right. Your knuckles are right on your tailbone. You're encouraging your tailbone to move down. You're snuggling your lower back into your forearms. And as you press your knuckles down, you lift your chest up. You feel your collarbones getting wider. You feel the center of your sternum lifting up and back towards your throat. Good, and then slowly start to straighten into your left leg. And slowly start to lean your torso forward. Don't think so much down, think more in opposition of your arms. So we get to study ourselves in each and every one of these poses and really ask ourselves, is there joy here? Or am I struggling? Is there a different choice that I could make? So re-bend your knee, take your arms up to the sky, press your palms together. And as you exhale, place your fingertips down on either side of your left foot. Reach back for the baton with your left hand, and then bend your knee and maybe feed your ankle into your hand. And then just imagine your left collarbone becoming more and more long. And then slowly release. Circle it down. Place your hands on either side of your front foot. Lift your back knee up off of the mat. And then step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Bend your knees a little bit. Place your hands on your shins. And as you inhale, extend your sternum forward. And then imagine the very top of your sternum trying to lift up. Your belly can stay connected to your thighs. And as you exhale, release it back down. Again, inhale, find that extension through your upper spine. Imagine a wave was crashing on your upper back. As you exhale, allow your spine to cascade back down over your legs. One more time, inhale, lengthen your chest forward. And as you exhale, fold back down. Press into the four corners of your feet. Imagine a current lifting you up. Circle your arms all the way up above you. Join your palms. And as you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Good. So it would only be appropriate today to do the breath of joy, right? For today's theme. So I'll remind you guys what that is. We basically take 3 inhales to 1 exhale. And so when we inhale, the arms go up, out, up. And when we exhale, bend the knees and exhale the breath out. And you can make this audible if you want to. Ready? So join in with me. Here we go. Three more. Rise up, place your hands on your heart, and just feel that feeling of being kind of enlivened, kind of awoken, kind of revitalized. You can feel that energy pumping and moving from your heart throughout your body, pumping all of that joy to all of your extremities. Good. And then find your way back to the top of your mat. As you inhale, circle your arms, reach up to the sky. Keeping your front ribs closed, your tailbone long. As you exhale, bend your elbows out to the side, lift your chest up towards the sky. Inhale the arms back up. And as you exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward, long spine. Inhale, reach your chest forward, hands to shins or fingertips to the floor. Exhale, step it back, lower it down through your vinyasa. Option to take it straight back to downward facing dog, always an option. And as you exhale, take your hips up and back into that downward facing dog. Good. Inhale your right leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, slowly start to shift forward, curl your knee in towards your chest, push the floor away, and step your foot between your hands. Good. So drop your back knee down. Again, place your right hand to the outside of your right thigh, uncurl your left toes, and start to revolve your spine again, using your outer leg as leverage. And then take your top arm up to the sky, and already just start to reach it back behind you, opening your chest up towards the sky. Good. And And then slowly spiral your right hand down. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up off of the mat, and seal your left foot down with the heel of your right foot bisecting the arch of your left. Switching sides so I can see you guys. Bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Stretch your left arm up to the sky. Great. So you're really feeling like your left arm could just keep reaching. Good. Now slowly start to extend your right arm down so that your arms are long. You're actually just bracing your right outer arm against your inner right knee. And with your palms open, rise up to warrior two. Palms open. Yeah, so your palms are facing forward versus down. Flip your hands all the way. As you inhale, straighten your right leg. Take your arms up to the sky. As you exhale, return to warrior two, creating a break with your outer left foot. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Scoop up whatever it is you'd like to gather that makes you feel full. And as you exhale, return to warrior two. Good. One more time. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, take it to warrior two. Good. And then place your fingertips behind your head and slowly start to lean forward towards your right leg. Good. Stay with your breath. Split your arms again. Reach your right arm down. Reach your left arm up to the sky. And then start to straighten into your right leg. So you're in a triangle pose here. You're thinking about tracking that right sitting bone towards the arch of your back foot. Revolve your palm to face behind you and drop your hand behind your back, maybe even find your hip crease. And try to roll your left shoulder on top of your right shoulder. Good. And then rebend your right knee. Keep the half bind. Rise back up to warrior two. Continue to take your right arm up and behind, in between your shoulder blades. And then maybe take your left arm up straight up your back. So you don't have to grab your fingertips or anything. We're just being gentle with ourselves in this posture. Think about opening that left collarbone up a little bit more. And then one more time, start to elongate. Reach through the tip of your elbow. Lengthening out into our side angle pose. Try to turn the left lung up towards the sky, the right lung down towards the ceiling, down towards the floor. Good. And then rise back up. Reach the arms forward and backward. Flip your right palm over. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Nice long line through the right side of your body. And as you exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Pivot to the ball of your back foot. Root your left hand down. Spin your right arm up to the sky. And then find the outer edge of your back foot. Heel toe your right foot so that it's in front of you. So that it's in front of your hip. And either stay here or eventually step your right foot on top of your left, coming into side angle pose. Step your right toes behind you. Open it up for wild thing. Lifting your chest up towards the ceiling. Good. Wherever you are, make your way back to downward facing dog, however you like. When you get to downward facing dog, take a few moments to really root down and to move that energy from the earth through your heart center. Good. And then inhale your left leg straight back behind you. Push the floor away. Slowly start to shift forward. Curl your knee in towards your chest. And step your foot between your hands. Drop your back knee down. Brace your left hand on the outside of your left thigh and start to revolve your body towards the inside of that leg. Good. And then take your arm up to the sky and start to reach back behind you as you push through the index finger of your right hand. Good. And then spiral your arm back down. Tuck your back toes under. Seal your back foot down, heel to arch alignment with your right toes turned in roughly 10 to 15 degrees. Bring your left forearm to your thigh. Take your right arm up to the sky. And just breathe here. Good. Extend your top arm over your ear. And stretch the arm back up. Start to slide your left arm down the inside of your leg. And then awaken the sides of your body and rise up to warrior two with your palms open. Good. Just check that left knee. Make sure that it's tracking in front of the second and third toe. As you inhale, lift your arms, straighten your left leg. As you exhale, return to warrior two. Move slowly, follow your breath. Inhale, straighten your legs, scoop up, gather whatever it is you're cultivating through this time period we're in. Exhale, find that strength in your warrior. One more time. Good, and then bring your fingertips behind your head, elbows nice and wide. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, start to side bend towards your left leg. Try to spin your left lung up towards the ceiling, your bottom lung. Or actually turn that lung down towards the floor. Sorry, your top lung comes up towards the ceiling. Good. And then rise back up to warrior two. Find your way back into a side angle pose. And straighten through that left leg. So we come into triangle here, and you're trying to tuck your hips forward, not letting your butt stick out behind you. Then turn your palm to face behind, drop your hand behind your back, maybe find your hip crease, and try to roll your right shoulder on top of your left shoulder. Good. Rebend your left knee, keep your half bind, rise back up here. Take your arm all the way up and behind, place your hand between your shoulder blades. Take your right hand, slide it up your back, and try to square your chest and your belly towards the wall you're looking at while your knee keeps tracking over your second and third toe. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale again, start to lengthen it forward. Turning the left lung down, spinning the right lung up. Good. And then release. Turn your back toes so that they're parallel. Place your right palm down, spin your left arm up to the sky. Come to the outer edge of your back foot. Start to heel toe your left foot so that it's in front of you towards the center of your mat. And either stay here or step your left foot on top of your right foot. Really pushing your force down into the earth with your right hand. Step your left toes behind you. Keep your right leg straight. Lift your chest up, opening up. And then however you see fit, find your way back into a downward facing dog. And then bend your knees and come down. Separate your knees out wide, big toes touch, drop your hips back into child's pose again. Let your hips settle into your heels. And just feel the openness, the warmth, the heat, the greater capacity for breath and prana to move throughout your body. Good. And then walk your hands in towards your knees. You're going to come up to a tall kneeling position. And you're going to take your hands to your lower back and encourage your tailbone to move down. So as that happens, it's like your two frontal hip points are wearing suspenders, so those lift up. It's going to neutralize our lower spine. So we want to make sure that we neutralize our lower spine, and we're not like hinging back like so, but rather we're stable through our lower back. We start to imagine the elbows coming towards one another, and it's the same idea of lifting the center of the sternum up and back towards your throat. Take another breath here. And as you exhale, come out. Drop your hips back down into your heels. Stretch your arms forward again. Allow that huge current of breath to wash away anything that is not your essence, that is not joy, that is not you. Without all the accoutrements, just you. Good. Slowly walk your hands back in. Rise back up to tall on your knees. Same thing. Take your hands to your lower back. Encourage your tailbone to move down. Start to already lift your chest up. And then take your arms up above you. Interlace your fingers and start to watch your fingers draw a line on the ceiling towards the back of the room. Lift up and out of your upper chest. Keep your tailbone pointing down. Take one more breath. And as you exhale, release it back into child's pose. Place your forehead down on the mat and wrap your arms around behind you again, creating that heart to encompass the shape of your body. You can draw that heart from the center of your heart up and around your shoulders to meet behind you. Good. And then just roll over so you're in a seated position. Extend your legs out in front of you. Bend your right knee so that the sole of your right foot is against your left inner thigh. Extend your left arm along the inseam of your leg. Reach for that baton one more time. Get a huge wingspan between your two arms. And then side bend over, reaching your right fingertips for your left toes. Try to turn your chest up towards the sky. Left lung down, right lung up. Circle your right arm all the way around, lift up onto your shin. Extend your chest up towards the sky. And slowly release it back down. Second thought, extend your right leg out. Bring your left sole of your foot in to your inner thigh. Take your right hand, cut it along the inseam of your right leg, and then reach for that baton, opening up across your chest. Big line of energy. Slowly start to side bend over towards your right toes. Turn the right side of your chest up towards the ceiling. Good, and then circle your arm all the way around, roll onto your shin, and take your heart up to the sky. Just imagine being exalted. What does that word mean? Slowly release it back down. Good, extend your feet out in front of you. Place the soles of your feet down. Reach your arms forward, hook your thumbs together. And imagine you're hollowing out from your chest cavity. You're creating this space, this hammock for your heart to settle into as you roll your way down to the floor. When you eventually get there, hug your knees in towards your chest. Drop the sole of your left foot down to the floor with your knee bent. Cross your right thigh bone on top. Shift your hips a little to the right and let your knees descend towards the left. Bring it back to the center. Switch the crossing of your legs. Shimmy your hips a little towards the side you are not twisting to, and let your knees fall down to the opposite direction. slowly bring it back to the center. Hug both knees into your chest and really be aware that you're creating an embrace here. You're creating an aura or a container on your mat to be nourished by that unconditional love. So take one more breath here. Really hug yourself, embrace yourself. And as you exhale, release everything and find your way into Shavasana. So your final resting pose. Your knees can be bent. You can knock them in together if your lower back is tender. You can place the soles of your feet together. Let your knees fall out to the side if that's more comfortable. Or you can do regular Shavasana with your legs just taking up space, your arms just taking up space. And so what we're cultivating here is we're cultivating that blank canvas upon which we can paint whatever it is we want to paint, whether that's joy, bliss. These things are our true nature, but when we get wrapped up in our mind and what our mind is telling us, we need to be happy, we need to be joyful, the things that we need, the events that we need, the productivity that we need, in order to, we cut ourselves off from that source. So use this time in Shavasana to go deep into the source, your own source of joy, love. Let that love be unconditional. Place your hands on your heart. Slowly, in your own timing, stretch your legs forward, stretch your arms backward. Imagine you can energize, invigorate, enliven every single cell of your body with an unconditional love. Circle your wrists, circle your ankles. Feel that love even in your facial muscles. As if someone that you loved was just told you how much they love you. Receive that. And hopefully you know that that was you who was telling you that you love yourself enough to practice yoga. So hug your knees in towards your chest. Take your time, rock yourself up to a seat or roll yourself over and find your way to a seat. And as you come to that seated position, bring your hands again onto your heart. So it's not just that you love yourself enough to practice yoga, you love yourself in the way that you do practice yoga. And your yoga practice is a way to continue to cultivate that self-love. It's not the what, it's always the how. So just breathe into your heart for a few more rounds. Allowing yourself to really get heart full. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Imagine that your mind was bowing down to the infinite wisdom, the infinite capacity for unconditional love. And anyone's mind would be in awe of the capacity of unconditional love. Infinite. So coming into your own personal gratitude practice, thankfulness, acknowledgement of this beautiful present moment that we are gifted. Slowly allow your eyes to open. Namaste. Thank you.